Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arielle V. King, and I am an environmental justice educator and strategist here in New York City. I'm also on the board of the National Environmental Education Foundation, and I would be remiss not to acknowledge that this upcoming Saturday, September 27th, is National Public Lands Day, the nation's largest single-day volunteer event for public lands. And you can find more info about that on the NEF or NEEFUSA.org. And at this very moment, about 34% of plants and about 40% of animals are at risk of extinction, and 41% of ecosystems are at risk of range-wide collapse. 16 of the 22 land conservation cooperative research centers in the United States have been placed on indefinite hiatus or been completely dissolved following budget cuts on behalf of the Trump administration. Federal agencies aimed at conservation and the management of public lands are being defunded at a rapid rate. So now more than ever, conservation jobs and the work of conservation professionals is crucial. The practice of conservation aims to manage Earth's biosphere for long-term benefits to every living thing on Earth and all future inhabitants of this planet. And this might involve activities like creating new nature reserves or working to protect endangered species or preventing deforestation. And this afternoon, we have an absolutely incredible lineup highlighting various aspects of the conservation industry. And together, we're going to explore the current and future state of conservation jobs. So I'm going to just go down the line, and if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and sharing a little bit about your work, please.
All right, I am Michelle Cobb from Terraformation. We are a native forest restoration company, and I'm the head of marketing and communications. And my path into the conservation space certainly wasn't, I can't even describe it as a winding path. It was more like a leap of faith. And I just knew, I hit a point where I knew that I needed to devote my career to working on the single biggest problem we all have to solve, and that's climate change. I'm glad in my position today that I'm able to use those marketing skills that I have in the tech industry for marketing nature and the conservation work that is so important today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christina Dorvilier, and I work with the Nature Conservancy. Actually, our office is not too far from here. I'm based in New York State, and I'm the division recruiter for all of New York State. I will say that I take great pleasure in bringing on talent to the organization, whether it's a scientist, someone in finance, whether it's someone in marketing communications. We support folks across the board. This one was not linear. I did not get here through a straight path or line. It was unconventional. I've always been in the non-for-profit space. That was brought me comfort and joy. But over the last few years, particularly the last 3 to 5 years, I noticed that I really want to take a change. What aligns with me professionally, as well as in my personal life. And this opportunity was something that I wasn't looking for. But when I saw it, I realized I needed to take it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff Geist. I'm the manager of community and professional education at Duke Farms, which is a center of the Doris Duke Foundation. The Doris Duke Foundation is a national grant-making organization that's committed to building a more creative, equitable, and sustainable future. Duke Farms is a living lab where we're developing model strategies for ecosystem restoration, wildlife conservation, and clean energy transition. So my role at the Doris Duke Foundation is to develop educational training, workshops, continuing education, any kind of educational opportunities, and developing curriculum to all of the various learners that come to visit. That could be anywhere from K through 12 students that are coming on a field trip to do some hands-on place-based learning, all the way to professionals and conservation practitioners who are looking to kind of round out their skills a little bit more. So do a little bit of everything, but that's really the basis of who I am. And I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you so much. So from the various point of views that you all find yourselves in the conservation space, I'm curious, what skills are you seeing most in demand for the next generation of conservation jobs? And how can early to mid-career professionals best position themselves to gain those skills, whether through formal education, training, or hands-on experience, or some combination thereof?
So I will say it varies across the board, right, folks? So we're recruiting for folks across the board, not just scientists, but people across in different functions across the Conservancy, which I'm very grateful to be able to do. I will say in terms of skill sets, being nimble for one, and taking advantage of the actual opportunities that are within your organization. So if you have an opportunity to take on, I know learning and development is something that really focus on at the Nature Conservancy. So take advantage of those opportunities that you have in-house, whether it's training, speak to your managers, years, dependent on the work that I'm doing. I need someone who in land protection right now who's really great in real estate, right? So you never thought like, oh, this person has to be excel in real estate, but those are the things we're looking for, whether it's critical components, soft skills, hard skills. I would say take advantage of where you are currently with learning every opportunity. If there's trainings that you can do, take those trainings and network. So one size does not fit all, unfortunately, to say that. So I think you all know that one size does not fit all, but always take the opportunities and skill sets, and anything that you're curious about, ask your manager about that. Can I take this training? Am I available to take this training? Can we afford for me to take this training? So that's my insight there.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I know when I started in the nature-based solution space, I had the sense that, oh, I need to know something about reforestation to really get in. But I had years and years of marketing experience, marketing technology. So what I found, though, is that some skills that are really needed are on the business side. We need people who can tell stories. We've heard about that. We need people who understand the legal ramifications of what we do and can solve that. But we do need conservation people with that background as foresters or as understanding the biodiversity and scientists who can really look at what we do and understand how to verify it. But we also need people with this wide range of skills. The first thing you ask yourself is, what skills do I have that are needed here? How can I translate those skills into a similar position? And then learn the other things that you need to learn. But we definitely need people who bring really solid business skills into their roles.
Excellent.
Mine is definitely more of like a softer skill, but it stands out to me in a lot of the hiring I do. So I have a team of educators and who are bringing students and whatnot in, but really the skill that is most essential, that really is a through line for everything, is adaptability, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. The conservation space as a whole is changing very quickly. The climate is changing, federal incentives and policy are changing, funding is changing, technology is changing. So really just being able to think of the change as an asset and harness it and being a leader of change is really essential. And the people I've seen be most successful are the ones that really go with the flow and are the most adaptable. So it's not like something to work on particularly, but it's definitely one of those skills that like adaptability is really essential, especially right now.
That's excellent. So I guess a follow-up to that, I'm curious if there was a course that you wish you took in school that would help you with your career today, what would that course be?
I could say that.
Yeah, I'm like, this is off script, so
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of things. One, I feel I took a couple of things when I was getting my business degree that kind of set the path. And even though I didn't act on it for a while, I took a couple of environmental economics courses. And those were really eye-opening in terms of being able to see the impact, literally in dollars and cents, of some of the things that we do. So I think that for anybody here looking to take things that allow you to communicate in terms that the business world understands about the impact on nature is really important.
This has nothing to do with being adaptable, but it's just something I wish I would have done, is something on like science communication and storytelling, because scientists are generally, I'm very much generalizing, really bad at making science approachable and understandable. So being able to share that with kind of anyone in the right audience at the right time is really, really essential. So that's definitely something I wish I would have done kind of in undergrad when I was just kind of pursuing this field, not later in life. Definitely that.
Yeah. Thank you.
I absolutely have
Okay.
to back off that, because it's one of those things. When I first joined our organization, I told my colleague, I said, what are the hurdles that we have here? She was like, so we deal with scientists and sometimes they're not able to communicate like you and I would communicate. And it's really hard when I'm recruiting with folks. I'm just like, layman's terms, bring it down for me. Like, help me understand what you're talking about. And I think that's absolutely one of those things I'd like to work on: storytelling, communication, and kind of reporting back all the numbers that they're giving and all that information that you're able to easily digest it.
Thank you. So this conversation so far is reminding me of Dr. Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson created this climate action Venn diagram, and it's like an opportunity for you to investigate where your specific role is in the climate movement. So one of the circles is things that you're good at. One is the things that bring you joy, and the third is the work that needs to be done. And so if you were to fill out 3-circle Venn diagram, what would exist at the middle is where you can and would contribute to the climate movement. Yes. So next, with so many people seeking jobs in the environmental and conservation space, whether due to federal cuts or other factors, what advice do you have for applicants trying to stand out in today's competitive market?
I guess I'll go first. Again, I'm generalizing, but we're all kind of in this area of work because we're passionate. So passion is not that it's not enough, but passion isn't the thing that differentiates you from someone else because everyone is passionate if you're in this line of work. So my recommendation is always to focus on impact. So what's the purpose behind the passion? So coming in with numbers and not huge numbers, like, hey, I organized a community event for 20 people and it led to 4 more people becoming volunteers. That means a lot more than just I like to organize community events. Having some numbers there to back it up is really, really helpful and can kind of fill out a resume a little bit more and give you some additional talking points. So yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
I would add to that, curiosity is certainly something that I look for when I'm interviewing people. Because if you kind of live life as hey, I want to learn about things, I'm curious about it, then when something goes wrong, you'll take that time to go, why didn't that program work? Let me understand that. Let me go talk to people and really, really feel this out. And so I think that's one of the skills. And frankly, it's almost a personality trait that people can show, is that ability to be a learner and to be humble and to be curious.
Humble. I think I love that you said that, but also bridging the gap oftentimes. Perhaps if you don't have the specific background, we're talking about transferable skills. In terms of really focusing on bridging the gap and painting a picture for folks to really understand where you're coming from and what you're doing. And I said, like, research goes a long way. So when you're specifically applying to a specific role, do a little research about that team or world that you're living in, because you're looking to enter their world and do the great work that they're supporting. So if you're able to tie in those dots in terms of what you've done, or on your cover letter, kind of specifically talking about, like, oh, I saw that your team did X, Y, and Z, kind of building that map and making those connections. So I will say, hiring managers love that people have done the research and the insight on what their particular team is looking to achieve.
Thank you. So, as we've heard, careers are rarely a straight line. They're often kind of meandering journeys that we all go on. And so, what guidance would you give to people who are looking to pivot into conservation? And for those coming from non-traditional backgrounds? And yeah, what do you prioritize when you're looking for candidates, or what are some resources that folks can pursue in order to learn more about conservation jobs?
I'll be happy to take that one first. So as you heard, I came from tech marketing. And so I spent many years marketing software. And so when I decided that I needed to devote my life to the climate challenge, I said, well, how am I going to translate this? And what I found was those years spent helping technology startups succeed and grow were exactly what's needed at this moment in time to help climate startups succeed and grow. So when I went into conversations, I focused on that aspect of it. Hey, here's how I can help companies grow. Let's talk about how that works for you. So I think if you're looking for getting into the space, being able to identify ways to bridge from what you know to something needed is key. So keep staying up on the issues that are most important right now, and being able to show how your skills are going to map to that is extremely important and helpful.
Thank you.
I really think because the conservation field is so interdisciplinary, we really need to embrace the fact that there are untraditional backgrounds that you come from, because it's important. We need conservationists who are data people. We need engineers. We need marketing. We need communications. We need influencers. Embrace the fact that it might be an untraditional background. And I think it's a benefit to the conservation field as a whole. And then personally, for me as a hiring manager, I'm very much consistently looking for transferable skills. So not necessarily like the hard skills. If I'm hiring for an educator, I don't necessarily expect that I'm going to get someone who's had years of teaching experience. That's not always necessary. But what I'm looking for are public speaking skills, being able to share knowledge and disseminate it to a couple different age groups. Those types of skills I think are just as valuable as more formal teaching skills.
Great. Thank you. Similarly, many people don't really start building new skills until they're starting to look for a new job. Or they're already out of work. And so, what advice do you have for growing and strengthening your skills proactively throughout your career?
I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned earlier at the top of our conversation, something I want to focus on at the Nature Conservancy, we have a beautiful program called the Kodo Fellowship, and that actually allows you, it's within TNC. I saw the curiosity in your face, so it's within the Nature Conservancy, and it basically allows you to step into another opportunity for a percentage of your time. So I'm an HR function, but if I one day went to my supervisor and said, I'm a little bit curious about like finance or conservation, there are roles that are posted weekly, monthly, dependent on the needs of of the team and you dedicate 20% of your time. And I know this is something that's very, very rare, which I'm very grateful for. But if your organization or team allows you to provide a percentage of your time to learn and obtain new skills, take advantage of that because you don't come by that very often. That's something that's very rare. And also seasonal positions. That's something that we really have at the Nature Conservancy, which I'm very grateful for because those lead into beautiful opportunities, not within the Nature Conservancy, but externally. And also, one last point I'll make, we're a global organization. I'm very fortunate that there are remote opportunities. Take advantage of those remote opportunities if you can. And I know people are willing to move and kind of go to different places. So we've had folks who were originally in North Carolina, now they're in Rochester, New York. So take advantage of those opportunities within as well.
Thank you. Do we answer them? Yes, please, if you'd like.
Sure. Just some suggestions. I have two. You mentioned volunteers. There's volunteer work, of course, out there. So getting to work is kind of what I would add. There are definitely places where even if you're not sure what that long-term career move is going to be, get started. I know that when I did the switch, I volunteered time with an organization. I put a lot of time with that organization, got paid nothing. But I learned about this. It was a sustainable marketplace. I gathered a lot of good information and connections. And the other thing is find the group that gives you energy. Because I found that when I went into discussions about how I was going to move into the space, let's say with a potential company, if I was motivated, I'd had conversations at a networking event with somebody, I came in with, buzzing with energy. So find those groups that, give you energy and go.
Love that. Thank you. Do you have anything to
Yeah,
add?
I have a quick answer. Just like look for development opportunities that might be kind of adjacent to where you are. It brings you into another network. You might not see the direct application in the moment, but it's something that could kind of open it up in a larger space into a larger network with more people. So I did it before with like evaluation frameworks where I wasn't really sure where I was going to go with it, but it was a social behavioral educational humans-based research subject training that I did. And I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I did it anyway. And then it ended up becoming the foundation of how we measure impact of all of our educational programming from every age level. So like it wasn't directly applicable in the moment, but it very much so later became applicable.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What is some advice you wish you could have given your younger self when starting out your career in conservation? And what advice do you have for yourself now in your current position of leadership?
So my answer would be trust your instincts.
Yes.
It took me a long time to really learn that, but that environmental economics course I mentioned was a long time ago. If I had the incentive to take it because I was so interested in the area, and at that moment I probably should have trusted my instincts and gone with it. But I'm glad I found my way back.
Yes.
Closed mouths do not get fed. Speak your piece.
Yes.
Ask the opinions, ask the questions, because if you do not say it, you don't ask it, no one's going to know you're thinking it. So take the moment. I know it could be uncomfortable at times, but as you said, being uncomfortable sometimes is a very good thing and it's very, very beneficial.
Yeah.
And something I'd say to myself now is stand in a corner, observe, listen to the people around you and take that in because the different perspectives and foresights of the people around you will bring you great, great value to your work.
Excellent. Thank you.
And mine works for both my younger self and current self, but in different ways. And it's just to kind of slow down. Coming into out of school, very discouraged by like, I wanted to do research because I was convinced that's how I was going to make an impact and I needed a PhD. And I started doing that and I didn't like it. And I super discouraged. And then I jumped to the next thing. So like really slowing down, taking time to figure out what you like doing, but also equally as important, what you don't like doing, what does not bring you joy is super important to identify early on. And then for my current self is to slow down and really leverage the team of people I have, like what I'm working with now, and not just try to jump from thing to thing because this can be an overwhelming area of work occasionally, and kind of feel the need to jump from one thing to the next and really take time to like let other people's creativity shine and come through is really important. So just like remembering to slow down every so often and take some pauses for yourself.
Thank you so much. Are there any conferences or books or other resources that you would recommend for people interested in learning more about the conservation industry?
Well, I know that just perused the Project Drawdown materials when I was looking just to understand climate solutions and really get into, good information about what they are and how they operate. New update.
For those who couldn't hear it, yeah, it's okay. They just came out with a new toolkit. Yes. Whatever, yeah, like
Um,
conferences,
Yeah,
resources.
one of the things that I did, and it actually helped a lot, is find someone with a job that you really like, that you kind of aspire to, and go on their LinkedIn page and see what networks they're a part of. And that is like how it opens up a bunch of different doors. And then you can find conferences. It really depends on what niche you want to be in. Are you into education? There's the North American Association for Environmental Education. Are you into research or restoration? There's the Ecological Society of America. And a lot of these national organizations with national conferences have like state, local, or regional affiliates that you can join based on where you are coming from. But to help find them is just find someone with a cool job and see what they're a part of. And it helps a lot.
Yeah. And I guess the next step after that is to reach out to that person, right? Like while you're already on their
Yep.
profile, like reach out as well and ask for a conversation. Most people are happy to talk about themselves. Right? And so like use that and use the opportunity, reach out, ask for a 15-minute call. At the end of that 15-minute call, ask if there are other people in their network that they would suggest that you connect with. Ask for an intro. Like that's what we have to do right now. So given the current state of all the things right now, I'm curious, what is keeping you all hopeful right now?
Ah.
There's got to be something, right? And it doesn't have to be, climate related. Just yeah, what are the things that are helping you sustain you being able to do the work that you're doing right now?
I think I know this might be cheesy, but my colleagues, like the fact that we are in the midst of what we're in and they keep going, like every day, day in, day out, the work does not stop. They will not allow it to stop. They keep going, and their passion and their commitment is something that I don't take for granted, to be part of such a wonderful team. So I say the people around you, my colleagues who get up and say, we're gonna do it again, when you just keep going.
Certainly, I just love everything from little wins to big wins. But little wins can be like we started planting on a project, one of our projects, and it's like, oh yes, trees are going in the ground. This is amazing. Um, as well as the bigger ones, and celebrating other people and their successes, I think is very hopeful. There's a lot of good work being done, and so we shouldn't feel like everything is doom and gloom. No, there's a lot of good work. It needs to be accelerated. We need you in the picture. We need this all of this activity to grow.
For me, it's like it sometimes it feels daunting because progress doesn't seem like it's happening, and progress can feel slow. But when you really take a step back and see how, depending on the work you're doing, how like the ecosystem responds to some restoration or anything like that. Like this is such an odd example, but I just found out this morning, and like it brought a ton of joy. Um, One of our volunteer community scientists recently found a great cormorant, which has never been spotted where I worked before. So like that's really cool, and that means restoration is working, and it can happen quickly, and it doesn't feel like it's happening quickly. But when you take a step back and look at some of the results, it really, like, nature does respond and rebound, and that's really the those little stories that need to be told to feel like you're making progress and the work you're doing is meaningful.
Thank you. That feels like a lesson on life. Yes. And so as we are getting ready to close, I want to just create space for you all to, add additional remarks, final things that you would like to share with the audience.
Well, I guess for one, I just want to say that I'm amazed and very happy to see so many people standing here for this session. And to me, it just shows the intent of this group of people here to say, I want to get in, I want to help. We need everybody. We need things to move as quickly as possible in all kinds of ways. So there's plenty of space. In fact, I know some recent numbers show that the number of green jobs is growing faster than the number of people with the green jobs experience. So being able to bridge from whatever you're doing to the space is really important. So glad to see it. But yeah, we definitely need you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Closing remarks, closing thoughts, feelings.
Give yourself grace, especially in this time. Give yourselves all grace, because we don't figure it out in one day. It takes time, it takes commitment, and it takes a lot of work to get to where the final destination. So take your time and be introspective in what's benefiting you in the space that you're in, but give yourself grace.
And this is going to be overly philosophical again, but I say this to the middle schoolers that come visit. So I'm going to say it to all of you because it makes sense here. Any job can be a green job. It
Yep.
doesn't matter what you're doing and where you are. It can put the green lens on it and make some sort of an impact. It doesn't matter what exactly you're doing. So I'll leave you with that.
Amazing. Well, let's give our panelists a round of applause.